Now, this comment won't be surprising to many of you. It's quite a common notion, especially in this day and age. You know, just leave the culture, marry outside the culture. I totally understand it, because we have like a really layered and complicated, you know, religiously weaponized, gaslighting, manipulative type vibe in our community, unfortunately. Like, we lay on the blackmail real thick. Also, there's certain traditions that we follow regionally, depending on where you're from, and they sometimes don't align with each other, and it can cause a lot of, you know, issues and conflicts. And also, culture is so deeply ingrained in our identity that when you're, you know, putting people's identity in question, or you're not willing to go in the fold with them, because when you marry into a family, I know the modern world wants to make you feel that it's just you and him, it's just you and him. It's not. It's not just you and him. You marry the whole entire family. That's a fact. And then you learn to manage the level of communication between different relationships and how far that can be taken. And that takes time. You know, you need to navigate that and work that out. So when you're dealing with that in our culture, and you've got brothers and sisters and aunties and uncles and mussies and judges and all that involved, then you start thinking, okay, I'm basically going to be entering a prison, and this is going to be hell. But I would promote gentle conversation, because I realized what happened is, in our culture, a lot of the women are riddled with anxiety, riddled with it. And it makes them really shouty, defensive, you know, bad-tempered, because the anxiety you've already had it since a child if you got raised in a particular culture. So you're like on edge all the time, on edge between, am I being a good girl and am I being true to myself? You know, am I being a good Muslim, but at the same time I want to like live and breathe my life? Is what I've been taught by my culture even anything to do with religion? Or is this purely the status quo of what this group of people think is normal? And that stuff can start driving you crazy. But I wouldn't say leave the culture completely because of it. We are a generation that is more educated than any other generation that has come previous to us. That comes with a responsibility, and that responsibility should be the ability to have constructive conversations with our family. Don't leave people behind. Some people you might need to leave behind because, you know, they have no ability to be flexible or be kind or try to have some kind of level of understanding with you. But a lot of people do want to do better and keep families together and live with love and joy. So don't make it your first thought to leave the culture. You know, try to improve our culture. We need you. Our culture needs us. That generation that is mentally and emotionally intelligent, that can finally start breaking these cycles and bring the previous generation forward with us. We don't want to raise our children without their grandparents. We don't want that. We want to promote togetherness. In order to do that, the younger generation need to use the skills and the intelligence that they have gained over the previous generation to help bring them along. And it's not going to be easy. But cutting everyone off and cutting all ties with absolutely everyone, as a first port of call, is going to leave us very scattered. And it's going to water down our culture. We want to save our culture. We just want to make it non-coercive. And we want to detangle that enmeshment it has with religion, because they are actually two separate things that we have made into one. So let's work on this. Let's work together on, firstly, how we're going to manage our own anxiety and resentments in order for us to be able to understand where the previous generation is coming from, even if we disagree with them, and find that middle ground and bridge that generational gap. That is what it's not you, it's me is about, is bridging gaps, mending relationships, joining generations together, not leaving each other behind, and watering down and coming to a point where we're even more scattered. We already lost the nuclear family to this modern world. Do we want to lose the wider family element to that as well? Because I know how enriching it was for me to have my grandparents around, to learn the language, to pick up on tradition. it was actually really beautiful when I separate it away from the negativity. So let's try and do that. Let's try and do that together as a community, inshallah.